Okay, this one's going to actually be quite ambitious. We're going to be making chocolate eclairs. Okay? Now, if you've had them, you know that there are actually three different pieces. There is the pastry, the bun, which is a little bit different than what you're used to. It's actually a boiled pastry. It's a pâté choux. Okay, so that's one thing. And then you're going to need the crème anglaise. You have to, or crème pâtisserie. You'll have to pardon my French because I don't speak it. Okay, which is actually the cream that goes in the middle. A lot of places use whipped cream, but that's just wrong. We don't do that around here. And the third piece is actually a chocolate ganache that goes over the top. Okay, so for this, we're going to need 8 eggs. We're going to need half a stick of butter, milk, flour. We're going to need cocoa, vanilla, salt, sugar. Yeah, but we're going to break this into 3 separate parts. So it's not like a billion miles long to make this video. Well, no, actually, I don't think... Well, we'll see in final editing how it comes up. It's probably going to be 1 video, might be 3 videos. Not 100% sure. Going to do a separate ganache video anyway. But anyway, let's get to the stove, because we actually make this the dough for the pastry on the stove. Let's get over there. Okay, now we're going to start the dough. What we're going to need for this is we're going to need 2 cups of milk. If you're using a heavy cream or a full milk, you can actually use half water, half milk, whatever. But 1, 2. Okay. We got the milk in there. We got the half stick of butter. And we're also going to need a teaspoon of salt in this. And we're going to put this on. We're going to be melting the butter and raising the temperature on the milk. This is one of those things that's... Should have taken the tinfoil off to begin with. That was the worst part. Okay. So we put that right in there. You can melt it if you want. It's up to yourself. You know, pop it in the microwave, heat it up a little bit. That always cuts down on a little bit of time when you're doing these things. But you're fine if you have a pretty good stove. You will be able to get this done reasonably quickly. Don't mind the clinks, that's just me breaking up the butter. If you leave it just one big chunk, it's going to take forever for your butter to melt. Okay, now put the salt in. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this to a boil, make sure that the milk is all melted. Not the milk, duh. We're going to bring this to a boil and we're going to make sure the butter is all melted. Okay, one sec. Okay, and as you can see, our milk has been brought to a boil and it's starting to do that whole expanding thing, which is just wonderful. Okay, to this we add 2 cups of flour, which will knock it back down. Okay, now what we're going to be doing, we have to stir this because we're trying to get rid of the water in the milk while retaining the cream and the fat. Okay? Trying to do this and show you at the same time is not that easy. It only takes a minute or 2. It's actually cooking the flour a little bit. It's making a sort of a roux actually, but that's not what we're using it for. Okay, we just leave this on here to cook for, about 2 minutes or so. But you gotta constantly stir it. Because we don't want it to stick to the bottom, we don't want it to burn. Ugh, it's actually hard in the hands. Your poor pot will need a little bit of a scrubbing when we're done. Okay. Just cook it like this for about 2 minutes, and when that's done, transfer it to your mixer, and we're going to fast forward to that part. Okay, now it's been transferred over to the mixer, and it's been allowed to cool for a couple of minutes, about 5 minutes. You don't want it to completely cool down, but this is where we're going to start adding in the eggs. Okay, we want to put that on low, and we're going to start adding our eggs in one at a time. Oop. Okay. Now remember, there's 8 eggs. It's going to take a little while. What's going to happen is the dough, it's going to integrate all the eggs, and the dough is going to get nice and shiny. It's going to be beautiful. See, if you were to just throw all the eggs in at once, what would happen is that ball would just go into a big ball and just be slopping around in it. Not good at all. And I'm so glad I have a mixer because I've done this by hand. And oh my god, is it a pain in the ass. Just make sure that it's all integrated. And then we go to the next one. Now, once we're done here, once we get all the eggs in it, you leave it to cool. But you can actually make this ahead of time. Yeah, a couple of days. There's nothing really shocking or anything that'll like come apart or anything. So you can make this like a couple of days in advance if you need to. I tell you, it's good to have on hand too because like you can make puff pastry or anything out of this really. I mean, it is a puff pastry. Not a puff pastry like the flat stuff. It's for making like, you know, those little oh, what are they called? They're like the eclairs with little bombs. Anyway. We have 1 egg left. It's starting to get all shiny and smooth, which is good. I will scrape the bowl down in just a sec. Once I get all the eggs in, I'm going to have to turn the speed up just a pinch too. And there we go. Oh yeah, it's already getting nice and smooth and shiny, just like you need. Oh, no, it's actually coming down from the sides. I was kind of worried about that, but no, it's cleaning the sides off and mixing it off too. That's good. And there we go. And that's exactly what we were looking for. See how it's nice and smooth and consistent, no bubbles, no lumps. There we go. Now we want to leave this aside to cool for 5 minutes, and we're going to have the oven preheated already to 400 degrees. Okay, so let's just fast forward to that fun bit. Okay, now there's actually a couple ways to do this. I put this in my pastry bag, well, my icing bag, right? And we just go through like this. Okay, that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is just to take some dough with a spoon. And make your own little logs. And then another way to do it do sort of a two-layer thing like this. Yeah. Or we could do it like this. You see? Basically, just continue doing this until you have the tray finished and go on to the second tray or whatever. That's my favorite. That's okay. That's horrible. That's sort of, yeah, you just sort of make a little log with the spoon. So we're going to make up a tray of these and we'll be back. Okay, we're making the creme patisserie. The eclair bodies are in the oven at 400 for about 15 minutes. And after that, we're going to turn it down to 350 and cook for another 10 to 30 minutes, depending how big they are. Just until they're basically puffed up and golden brown. You'll see, you're going to love it. Okay, so in here we have 4 egg yolks. And we're going to add 1/3 cup of sugar to that. And we're going to add 4 tablespoons of flour. Okay. Then we're just going to beat that until it's all nice pale golden yellow. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. It's coming, it's coming. I don't know if you can see that good enough. You'll see how it's actually getting a sort of a paler yellow. It starts out as a very, like over there, like see that yellow? It starts out as a bright yellow, but now it's pale. There we go. There we go. Now let's go to the stove. Okay, in here we have a cup and 1/3 of milk. We're going to bring that to a boil. To this, I'm going to add a vanilla bean. And half. We can find the half. They've already been sliced, so don't worry about that. You take the vanilla bean and you slice it lengthwise so that the beans and stuff can get out. When the milk boils, this is actually going to... I'm going to add another one because I like it. I want it vanilla-y. Okay, so we're going to boil this and I'll be right back. Okay, and we have the milk at a nice heady boil, and it's given a lot of vanilla flavor from the beans. Okay, to that, we start to add our floured egg mixture. Egg yolk mixture. Basically, we just have to keep whisking this continually while it cooks for a few minutes. Okay, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Okay, now we've been whisking this for about 2 minutes now, and as you can see, it's nice and beautiful and thick. We're going to remove this from the heat. You know. Stir for a little bit, and then we're going to put a little bit of cover on it, and we're going to put it somewhere to cool. Okay, Now let's make the ganache. Okay, now here we're going to do the ganache. We have 1.5 cups of milk here. And to that we're going to add 3/4 cup of cocoa powder. There are simpler ways to make ganache, but for that you have to have chocolate. I don't have it. So we are going to do this the old-fashioned way. Okay, and we're going to add 1 cup and 3/4 of sugar. Okay. I'm going to get that up there. Basically whisk everything together so it's nice and combined. Basically you're going to whisk this together so everything's combined. And from there, you're going to reduce it a little bit. I'm just going to fast forward that. Okay, now, as you can see, we have some nice thickened chocolate. As it cools, it will actually get thicker. We don't want to leave it cool too much because you can see how it coats the spoon. Beautiful, that's exactly what we want. Okay, now let's get to assembly. Okay, now we have them all, and I've used a bread knife to slice them all like so. You can fill them with a sharp pastry needle, but not pastry needle, a pastry thingy. Okay, so you're going to take your creme patisserie and you're going to put some in the middle. Just fill them like so. Okay, and once you get that on there, we just give it a quick dunk in the chocolate. Ah! Shit! Ow. Okay, so we got them all cooked. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be... Okay, now what are we? They're all cooked and cooled, and I've taken them and I've cut them like this with the bread knife. We'll take our creme patisserie. We just spread some on the inside. Close that up. And then we just give it a quick dunk in the chocolate. Now you can pour the chocolate over, but I actually prefer to do it like this. Just to show you again. A little bit of creme patisserie. Okay. Close her up. Give it a nice dunk in the chocolate. And back over here for the chocolate to cool. Absolutely nothing to it. Okay. So, there we have it. This is how we make nice, delicious French chocolate eclairs. And as usual, bon appetit!